Hey everyone, welcome back to Jaraci Cup 14, and welcome finally to the upper bracket. We're going to be casting today the first quarterfinal series that's been played. And of course it's Cookies, he always is on top of playing his games quick. Going to be Cookies versus MarchWaden. And you can see he picks Galzian and MarchWaden picks Conef, and then bans College Teeth. Or sorry, oh my goodness. Cookies bans College Teeth, MarchWaden bans KTL. Well, College Teeth is a great ban because it's Conef, and you know what they like to do. MarchWaden's ban, I don't really think there's any particular reason for it. Maybe he just doesn't like the map. But I'm sure we're going to see Canyon. Oh yeah, look at that. So Cookies picks Boneyard for game 1. Very nice map for Cookies. And then MarchWaden going to grab Canyon and then Fire Krill. Interesting. Cookies going to grab Galzian Territories, and then Shallow's ult would be the ace match, which would be pretty hyped to see. So let's jump into it here. See if my Twitch chat is working. It's not. See, this is why I run the freaking test all the time. Ah, very good. Very good. Fire Krill. It comes back again. Gosh. Here we are in game 1. Cookies, of course, rocking the colors, which are pretty similar to topical colors. I'm pretty sure that's actually purple, though. But he's just not as cool as the A-game. What can I say? And they're his colors, not freaking Phoenix Heels. Let's get that straight. Fire Bass Krill. But yeah, Boneyard for game 1. I'm sure that Cookies was hoping to get the other spawn, but he'll just have to play this anyway. Sandskimmer Fab finishes for him. And he's moving out across the field. He's keeping the base runner. This is something interesting. We don't really see this from Galzian. And especially to see the... Oh, got him. Especially to see the scanner drop on this side when you still have the base runner. That's very interesting to me. Wrong Yor. Oh, got him. Anyway. Assault Chip Fab gonna start for MarchWaden here. And MarchWaden been no slouch recently. I mean, I don't have any reservations calling him top tier, but Cookies is not bad either. Playing on a different faction than usual, though. Generally, we see him on Conef or Saban, but he's been playing Galzian this whole tournament, so... It's actually no surprise to see him play it in the bracket as well, but it's still a bit interesting that he's done it. MarchWaden generally with some pretty good micro in these early game fights. We'll see how this goes, but I think Cookies has the advantage, gets a little bit of high ground. That's going to go a long way. Kills off 2 skins already. And he has the base runner here for the heal, so... In fact, I might have used it right there, just to get the health bars topped up so that he can keep up the push. MarchWaden's Assault Chip Tech is what's going to kind of put the brakes on this, but it's not going to be done for another 5 seconds here, and then he has to build one. Bit of high ground, going to hurt up this PC, but that should be temporary damage, of course, so we can just kind of get back to the carrier. Be nice to see something powered up here for MarchWaden, but he'll probably just power up the weapons when his opponent finally gets close to him. There's the Assault Chip Tech. This is missile range, though, so it'd be nice to have this powered. There we go. He's going to put power in that system finally. Another skim goes down, though. A-game, that's very controversial. You know, I'd rather keep politics that are so hot topic like that off of the stream. Thank you. Anyway, missile is loaded here. MarchWaden hasn't used it just yet. Sandskimmer enhancements. Oh gosh, he's got rating. That's interesting. Well, I think that's actually probably a mistake though, and this is something we've been seeing a lot this tournament so far. Players getting the Sandskimmer upgrades here, but you're up against the Assault Chips and you're not really going to be able to use it. Ah! Oh no! That's not good. Oh, okay, he caught it about as quickly as I did, but still, the damage has been done. Oh gosh. Nice scanner, by the way. How much does that see? Oh, it just barely doesn't actually see the distribution, but still. Skims are going to come over for what looks like a kind of a nice trade, but here come the Assault Chips, so they're going to say no to that. The problem is they're faster than the base runner and the PC, so it's a little hard to get out of here. This guy's still slowed for a long time for having used the base runner heal ability, so now it's going to get sawed on. Down it goes. Yep, we'll be killed by the Assault Chips right there. And Cookie's carrier is still not back on the resources. Oh man, I mean, I don't know, that really is pretty bad. Not to mention he used the early game RUs to get rating instead of to get railgun tech, but yeah, now his carrier wafting off of the base for that long, I mean, that's really unfortunate. And MarchWaden don't care, man. He's just gonna come up and slay you, if he even knows, of course. Systems 1 gonna tech for cookies. That's finished. This PC might just be dead already. You kind of need to just sacrifice the skims to keep this thing alive in this kind of scenario, but that just feels terrible, you know? He's actually going for the retire order, but he's not going to get it. PC goes down. Yeah, and Cookies is like, well, I know how that ends, so he's just going to surrender. And MarchWaden takes game 1 in tragic fashion, can we agree? Tragic. 4.5 minutes, that's not very long, and that's not how you want the series to begin if you're Cookies, that's for sure. But A-Game's right, A-Game's right. Just gotta look to the next one. Ain't nothing you can do about the past. So in we go. Well, that's the joke that you make when he's playing against me, right? Because, you know, cookies, bozo cow, cows make milk, you know. Well, humans make milk too, but we consider that freaky if you were drinking that in your adult years. You get the point, you get the point. I'll just pretend I didn't hear that. I've got nothing to say. Seems like the game plan is ref mode first here for MarchWaden, by the way. Canyon Outpost's gonna be his map pick. He really does like to play on this one. I think perhaps it works well for ConF because of all of the... Oh, he's got me there. I think perhaps it works well for ConF because of all the rocks that you can fire missiles over, but just in general, it seems that MarchWaden plays the map really well, so... Definitely picking for comfort here. It is going to be a ref mode first start for him, but he's not going greedy, which is good because his opponent is going to try to prove it. Prove that he's unable to go ref mode, that is. So yeah, Sandscammer Fab starts before he builds any more salvagers. That is what you want to do. And he's even going to cancel the salvager. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to get any use out of this if I'm being attacked over here, so I'll just cancel that. I'll save the money for something else. I like it. I think that's a good play. He's got Sandscammer Fab done now. PC will take a bit of damage, but I mean, that's fine. Again, it's probably going to be temporary. And the idea here, I think, is that you build Sandskimmers, obviously, but you also get the PC over here, and then the carrier can move out over here and try and push your opponent off of the base. Especially good as ConF, who have a pretty decent speed at level 0. I take it back. I think that's how fast Coalition Sawan are when they have, like, no upgrades, so never mind. But they do get the range for free, which means that even without power and systems, you can pretty easily be hurting your opponent. You just have to be careful that you don't move too far because your opponent could just attack on the main base. So, and that's like what it looks like Cookie's going to try to do here. Still has that base runner. Looks like he will try for artifacts though, not going to go for the extraction instead. Uh-oh, taking a pretty good trade here too, so he gets 2 Sandskimmers for 1. Has to be careful anytime you're under the carrier, though. You are going to be taking attrition. Fairly okay missile as well, so it looks like he's just going to jump out here. And those carrier bullets do like 30 damage per shot, so even if they're not firing very much, they actually really hurt. So it looks like Assault Ship Fab going to be the tech choice for MarchWaden. His PC is a little bit misplaced, by the way. This is actually costing him some money. You'll see these two are able to drop off without moving. But then these two here have to move back. And that kind of small thing can actually, build up to a really big disadvantage. So it's good to fix that kind of thing whenever you can. Looks like the scanner gonna live. Okay. Line of sight. Gets away with 2 HP right there. And MarchWaden's still really stubbornly trying to set up this 2-base location, but when he gets a Soul Chip tech, it's going to be much easier for him. Unless, of course, Cookies has railguns by then. And last game we didn't see it, I think just because his carrier moved off the base like that, but if I were Cookies, I'd be looking at this. Because there's actually a lot of damage that he's done. MarchWaden going to start setting up the 2-base now, though, so you've got to be quick if you're going to do it at all. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my gosh, he already has a Soul Chip tech. What am I talking about? Okay, so he's going to go in with the Assault Chips instead. Getting armor 1 as well. Very good. He's had the long distance miners this whole time as well, by the way, so he's actually mined more than his opponent so far, despite his opponent having ref mode. That always feels really nice. But still, this is a position where you've kind of got to prove that it was worth it, because your opponent eventually will just get ahead by virtue of having 2 base. But these soul chips are done, so let's see what he can get done with it. I think he really needs to keep building more, though. Nice close-range missile. It's a lot of damage on these skims here. That is going to get 1 killed as well. But it looks like the real attack is going to be on the main here, and he's dodged the carrier, so that's actually great for Cookies. MarchWaden going to lose the salvager already, and now the assault chips switch over to attacking the sand skimmers here. Skims are going to do the same. Nice, nice. Yeah, gets a good trade against the sand skimmers here. And now if I were him, I wouldn't even chase this down. I'd just go back to the main base. Because what's your opponent going to do? Go back in with the skims? That seems impossible. Here's an assault chip though. You can see Cookie's attacking power 1 actually. I think because he's expecting like a counter attack with the sand skimmers here. The salvagers are so low. Oh, I would actually finish these if I were him. I mean, look how little health they've got left. 32 on one of those. Oh, I died to the splash. He was attacking the assault chip, but it still killed the salvager. Very nice. Armored unit defenses too coming out for Cookies now. Honestly, I like it. He's done a huge amount of eco damage now. Probably these 2 cells here will just stay on the main base at this point. And I think he's caught MarchWaden being just a little bit too greedy here. Second PC on the way for Cookies also. Honestly, not sure you can really use that. It might be better to have gone for rift mode instead, but that's the play. And MarchWaden's back down to 6, so, you know, that's pretty good. Base runner heal could still be big in this fight, too. Because, you know, if it's 2-on-2, I mean, obviously that can mean a lot. Still, though, we don't even have armored unit defenses 1 for MarchWaden, and we have 2 finished for Cookies, so... Even without the base runner heal, like, he doesn't... And the numbers advantage that he's got, frankly. His units are just better toe for toe, but... This can change things. Great missile hit. That's actually amazing. He's gonna have to back away now. Another missile attempt. And that's not going to hit for much, but does damage to damage a sand skimmer, I believe. This guy's healing up though, so that's fine for Cookies. Fighting up the bridge here, this is actually a low ground, although it doesn't look like it. Just go with it. Still though, oh look at that, it's another 1 for 0 actually for Cookies. That's pretty good. Here's that second PC as well. And he's actually filled out the second base already, although he's not got ref mode, but that's kind of funny. And MarchWaden's having a lot of trouble just getting back onto his base here, so Cookies is doing a great job, actually. Again, your opponent spent the money for ref mode, but he didn't get the advantage, right? I mean, that's gotta be a nice situation for you. If I were Cookies, though, I think I really would be considering that tech at this point, because you've already got 2 PCs, so you can jump up to 3 base, you've already got a base filled. And also, having the 2 PC with the soul chips here, you're not going to be able to sustain double production off of 1 base, so it seems kind of like even a no-brainer, I would say. You want to get rift mode at this point. And then advance the game kind of onto its next stage here. MarchWaden going to try to set up 2 base again, but he's moving out with the assault chips, and this is really dangerous. Like, if you're Cookies and you see this, like, you know, how many assault chips can he have? Right? You're probably feeling like, yeah, I'm fine to go in here now, because this is probably his entire army, and that's the case. This is kind of a big bluff by MarchWaden, and Cookies is going to call it here. And here's the attack, but again, this is armor 2 versus 0, so you're not going to win this anyway. Meanwhile, Cookies is on the second base. He's going to clear out all the salvagers here, which I'm sure have not paid for themselves yet, so that's a pretty bad investment for MarchWaden. Yeah, so bad, in fact, he's going to agree that he GG's out of the game. He knows it's over. And I agree, frankly. Alright, and Cookies doesn't freaking need ref mode. Garbage tech, don't ever get it. He's just going to win the game like this. We'll move on to game 3 then, but the scoreline is 1-1 so far. And this series is delivering. Fire Bass Krill. Have you come back with the milk? Anyway, yeah, so here we are on Firebase Grill. Another dark map. These guys just don't like the daytime ones, do they? They live on a diet of fire krill. Yeah, they're bad A's. What are these freaking emotes? Where are you getting these from? Oh gosh, you come back too, Milk. Oh. I don't want to think about that too much. Skimmer Fab ton for cookies, by the way. Gosh. And he's moving out, same old, same old. He's got the Sand Skimmer, he's got the base runner in tow. Ref mode gonna be on the way for MarchWaden. It's fun to see people play this way. I mean, it used to be you just always retired the base runner. And I don't know, I haven't seen it work in the top tier yet, but like, people, I mean, maybe I'll take it back. I was saying earlier, MarchWaden's probably a tier 1 player, yeah? He lost to this last game, so game 1 was kind of its own thing because of the salvager pull, or no, the carrier pull that Cookies accidentally did to himself. So these base runner retention strategies might actually have some viability here. I think the real key is that you have to use it to find a good trade, right? And so, because, you know, otherwise you just would really benefit from having the money that it gives you for retiring it. But he made it work last game. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Sand Skimmer Fad finishes for MarchWaden now. Again, he's got ref mode. He's not going to play this greedy, which you like to see. And I think, honestly, last game, one of MarchWaden's problems was that he was trying to set up his 2-base too quickly. And Cookies never went back to 2-base, right? And as a result, you know, he actually managed to get ahead because he never had to, you know, invest the money for ref mode. His opponent did, and he didn't get any value out of it, so, you know, you're winning in that scenario. But generally, the play with those assault chip strategies is that you try and contain your opponent and then go back onto 2-base faster than him, so I guess it is a bit surprising. You can see why it was that MarchWaden was pretty anxious to try and get some eco set up. This time though, it's gonna be railguns, so we're looking more at a sort of a, you know, kill you right now type of game plan. Distraction gonna begin here for Cookies. This is tough for MarchWaden to answer because if you move all the skims away from your main base, you are opening a vulnerability there. It looks like he's gonna jump on it. So if Cookies isn't here right now, he ought to be over there. That's what he's gonna do. But here's the first Sand Skimmer scuffle, and again, like I said, it's not so easy for MarchWaden to answer because, you know, you're probably gonna lose with those numbers of skims that are fighting. Plus, you can't just entirely abandon this position. Base runner can use the heal here, but oh no, it can't. I guess it's already used that ability. Railgun tech is done for Cookies now. One thing to keep note of though, this is 2 PC for MarchWaden, so Cookies does need to match that eventually. He's got the money for it, although he doesn't have the capacity. If you can't match it, eventually you'll just be behind on Sand Skimmers and then your opponent will beat you. But you can use the base runner to try and change the calculus there using the heal, but it looks like MarchWaden's already jumped up on top of him. It's a bad positioning for the Assault Railgun because that's the spin. It's right up in front of his opponent. Sand Skimmers are falling here. 2 Assault Rails done though, so this could maybe change things, but I feel like the base runner needs to be here. It can't be trying to extract just yet. But then again, Cookies is still alive. Like, that movement over off the dune actually ended up helping him a lot here. Needs that second PC though, he really needs that badly. Wow, he's actually taking this trade. Does MarchWaden have any tech? No. There's the extraction, which is going to be very nice to have the bit of carrier power here as well. And another PC queued up, which is great. This is one fiery bass. Yeah, I thought the game was actually over there, but Cookies pulled through it. He still is in a really dangerous position, though. That's a lot of sand skimmers. Uh-oh. As he moves over this high ground, too, this is getting a little bit problematic for him. Note that, like, MarchWaden has ref mode as well. Like, he could go back with the PCs and just set up his 3-base here if he wanted to, but it looks like that's not how he's gonna play it. Oh, you know what he could do? He could set up 2-base right here. Yeah, no, he's gonna jump up on top of his PCs. Cookies has another one now. I think, though, you really need to bring your Kharak out here, because you're in some serious danger. He's gonna start building skims here, but he's definitely in a bit of a meat grinder. This Salvager here got forgotten about, left in the rain. That one's dead for sure. This Salvager here has a bit of C's in its pocket. It ought to drop these off. Oh, base runner, what are you doing here? Well, this guy's dead, sadly. Gonna drop the scanner though. He uses the heal as well, so he's gonna buy a little bit of time. Oh my gosh, he won't actually survive, will he? Maybe. No, I don't think he can. But still, the sand skimmers are gonna trade a little bit more efficiently here than they would have otherwise. But it's gonna be tough to win that. 1 for 1, 2 for 1. Yeah, MarchWaden's happy with this. Gonna start diving under the carrier now, though, and this is where it gets a little bit dicey for MarchWaden, especially because that first extract came out. If I were Cookies, I'd be considering power 1 here as well, so that you can get like the 2 power in weapons, but... Oh, tell me he gets this guy. Oh! This one gets away with 5 HP. Crazy. But again, MarchWaden has ref mode, so if you just go back now, you know, you can be on 3-base in a moment here. And your opponent actually is the one who's committed to building defense now because, you know... Although, if I were a Cookies, I might consider going for, like, assault rails and then maybe trying to make this railgun rush work anyway, but... It's dangerous. It's dangerous, to say the least. One thing for sure, I don't like in this scenario to lose contact with my enemy's army, because I want to know what he's doing. So, it feels a bit stressful if this kind of thing happens, where I can't see where he is. You know, that kind of worries me. This poor Salvager got stuck, by the way. That happens, it's okay, you know. Armor 1 for both players, by the way, so... MarchWaden skims are not going to be particularly weak in the field out here. This is just game 3, of course. Nobody's getting eliminated here, but the stakes are still pretty high. Trying to get the momentum in the series. Looks like it is going to be ref mode for Cookies, so he'll back away here. Salvager in a bit of danger, though. Skims come to try to defend, but he's already dead, so... Well played by MarchWaden, managed to find one, and like I said, he can be up on 3-base in a moment here. Because he's got ref mode already, right? So, Assault Chip Tech gonna be the choice, and I'm sure that's going to go into air. Well, it could be kind of Siege, actually, I suppose. But... I doubt that it's Assault Chips, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I think he really would rather just have skimmers to fight off the skims of his opponent right now. Yeah, I agree. Because then they all start shooting at the same time, right? So, as opposed to starting to fire and having some of them not firing. Little 1-for-1 trade there, by the way. MarchWaden shouldn't push this. He's actually got the health bar disadvantage. Oh, turns into a 3-for-1 actually for Cookies there. Yeah, I've sometimes, you know, like if you use the V move to rotate things, you can often put all of your units on like one point when it's up against a high ground like this. I've often called that the Omega Point strategy. It's like a reference to Frozen Synapse or whatever. But if there's AoE though, you don't want to do it because you'll lose everything. But when there's not, it's true. They all start firing at the same time, and that actually gives you a pretty big advantage. You know, I think the 20% sensor range is actually a pretty good level 1 vet buff for the Sand Skimmers, because it allows them to position a little bit easier in these fights. You can see the difference there. Yeah, I mean, that's an easier way to do it. This thing that I was talking about only works when you have like a cliff like this. But you can, you know, V-move right here and rotate them that way, and they'll all try to form like a formation back here, but they can't, so they just go on to 1 point. That's always fun to do. MarchWaden has the tech lead in this fight, by the way. Just finished his rating as well, but here's Base Spinner heal. Good ability. Cookies shouldn't push it too hard here, though. I think he's actually losing on the runaway. Uh-oh, MarchWaden's definitely winning this now, though, because he finds a spot of high ground here as well. Great maneuvering by him there. He's gonna have to run back. And you're right, I mean, that's a good demonstration of it, right? Because of how spread up they are, it's like half of them aren't even shooting. It's gonna be Honor Guard Fab for Cookies here. Well, he could use that right now, but he's gotta defend first. This is a bit cheeky. Anyway, look at this scout. Is he like not getting shot at? I feel like he was like out of the arc of the machine guns there or something. That's ridiculous. He sees the 3 base though, so he knows about that. A couple of assault ships built, by the way. But MarchWaden, he's got bombers on the way already. And there's no anti-air in sight here for Cookies, not except for those PCs. Now, we've seen people really stuff it up with bombers recently. But I would hope that MarchWaden will do a little bit better here. Getting the ammo capacity upgrade too. Oh, and look at how he's launching. I wonder if he's gonna dock this guy. Maybe he knows the true facts about bombers. So the thing is, when bombers get the ammo capacity upgrade, they have to dock in the hangar before they can get it, which means that if you haven't used them yet, they don't actually get the upgrade. But looks like he's just gonna use this to try and hit skims, which is really not the best, but yeah, he's gonna change targets onto the salvagers here. This is a fight that Cookies can't win. He's fighting the assault ships here, which allows the skims to just basically tank forever. Well, because they're not getting shot at, I guess the assault ship is tanking for them. Bomber did nothing, so that's a little bit sad. Like I said, we've seen people stuff up Bomber plays a lot recently, so no surprise there. Looks like Cookies hasn't even noticed this, though. Here comes another Bomber. Now you could be hitting the salvagers and killing them. Looks like he's just hitting the carrier? I don't know. I don't know, man. The priority right now, though, really is to just kill as many salvagers as he can. So you can see he's using the sand skimmers against it. This bomber will hit the salvagers. So that looks like he's actually going to target one of the assault rails here. Kills that. And uses last bomb on some more salvagers here. And Cookie's going to get missile ship fab, but feels a little bit dire. This is a lot of eco being killed here. And there's not even really much army to speak of. Like, if your opponent really loses his whole army to kill your eco, that's one thing, but if he trades army for army and has an air force and your eco is dead, that's not good. So, this guy got away with 2 HP, by the way. Oh, no. Oh, not anymore. And the bombers don't stop coming, you know? It's like that song from Shrek, so... Cookies, I don't think even has the money to build any missile ships. Yeah, so he knows, like, I'm just dead here. Alright, well played. I take it all back. Those were good bombers. Good job. Good job. Interesting game, that one. Very interesting game. But MarchWaden's going to bring the series to 2-1, so that will be series point. I'll jump into game 4 to see what happens next. Yeah, he was pretending to be a salvager. Yes. It's honestly the funniest thing. And you're right, it is. It's another GVK. Cookies was our hope, our salvation. He was supposed to play Sylvan or something. Oh! Yes! Yes! Very good. Okay, MarchWaden wins. We can go home now. Nah, you know you love to see it. You love to see it. Scalzian Territories. This one's Cookie's pick. Now, being his pick, I'm wondering if he's got something funky planned for us. Right now, just kind of positioning his carrier. MarchWaden's just going ref mode first, it looks like. Seems he did not fancy what happened after the first game, so... Shaking my SMH head. Gonna be ref mode first from him too, I guess. Oh, MarchWaden's doing 2 PC, actually. Oh. We haven't seen this in a while. Okay. Well, he may be saying, look, every game so far, Cookies has rushed me. Like, literally every game, right? So this once, I think, on Galzian territories, yeah, I'll try and counter it, going with the 2 PC. And look, Cookies going ref mode. I love it. Well, this is actually pretty smart. If you have, like, if it's obvious what you'll do, and then you switch it up, you can kind of, you know, catch people off guard like that. I like the distribution of salvagers, too. Actually, he even could have done it a bit earlier, I reckon. MarchWaden is going to finish his second PC in just a moment here, though, and then I suppose it's going to be like a million Sandskimmers, right? Let's check the resources tab. He does have quite a lot of RUs, so if he wants to make this into a rail rush, he's got the money to do it. But I would still pull one of these guys off and go mine LDM over here. Mine long-distance mining. I don't know why I said it like that. Yeah, this is 2 base for Cookies. Now, to be fair, Galzian territories, the bases are very, very close to each other, so it's less efficient to... Or rather, I should say, it's more efficient to long-distance mine than it normally would be. So this isn't as big of an advantage as it would have been otherwise. Plus, he's going to see the Sandskimmers now, so he knows that he's in some danger. But if I were him, then, I'd be looking to get a tech immediately, and probably Assault Chips is the one that's most tempting. But then if MarchWaden goes for rails, he might still be in some trouble, so he's going to have to prove that he can do this. MarchWaden's here, and he's got 7 Sandskimmers. He's angry. You might be wanting to tech Systems 1 at this point. This looks pretty dire, actually. Good news, though, of course, you know your opponent's on 1 base, so, I mean, you can go back to 1 base if you need to for a time. Is that a salvager? No, that's a Sandskimmer. Okay, thank goodness. That'd be bad if he was building salvagers right now. Bit of carrier blocking against Cookies here, which is unfortunate, so the Sandskimmers aren't firing quite at capacity, but he gets this guy away with 14. Very nice, very nice. That's a salvager. Okay, you do need to be a bit careful about spending too many CUs on that kind of thing, but... Because right now what he needs, I think, is like a second PC, which he's going to start up to his credit, so that's pretty good. Scanner, gonna fall, of course, in mid. That thing never lasts too long in this kind of scenario. But Assault Chip Tech is finished, and he's almost got the money to start building it too, which I would definitely recommend here. Still has the 2 idols. And over on MarchWaden's side, still just has 7. Looks like he's taking ref mode. The thing is, if you go too hard on the defense, and your opponent gets 3 base before you, that can be an advantage too, so... We'll see what it looks like. But if you want to make that happen, you've got to be proactive like MarchWaden is. See, this is good. He's moving around with the Sandskimmers still in the front. He wants to make his opponent sweat a little bit here. And that's kind of what you've got to do in order to get that sort of advantage. So you'll love to see it from MarchWaden. Ref mode gonna finish in just a couple seconds here. These salvagers are just like hell-bent on dropping at this one particular PC. This is pretty unfortunate. Oh gosh. Oh no. Okay, well it's not going to be a huge problem because it is Galzian territories. The bases are pretty close to each other, but still, that's pretty unfortunate. MarchWaden, though, still no tech actually. He's going to go for a Assault Chip Fab. But if you're Cookies, I think you want to push out across the field here as long as you can figure out that your opponent's not rushing you anymore. That's easier said than done, but I think he knows. He is kind of moving as if he does. Assault Chip has a little spot of high ground here. That's got to feel nice. We'll just barely get a kill on one of the Sandskimmers there, so he makes that a 1-for-1 in the end. Has to be careful he doesn't get jumped on, though. And he's building salvagers, so yeah, to Cookie's credit, I think he seems to know what's up here. And that's good. That's real good. Still though, I think oh, he's gonna go into railgun. Oh. That could make things interesting. That could make things very interesting. It's a good map for railguns. So he might just be saying, okay, I mean I could, you know, I could come back with Like, I could push with assault chips and get 3 base, go air, whatever. Or I could try and kind of bamboozle my opponent and show up with rails now. So, we'll see if that works. But for MarchWaden, it's going to be a very early Con F siege here, and I think that's good for Cookies, because if it was Interceptors, he'd have a bit more trouble. But look, he's hitting the win button. He wins the game. And he smoked the base runner. You know, it's getting harder and harder to contest with this guy. This is almost full saturation. Yep, there's the last salvager, but I think MarchWaden was there first. You know, Cookies being on 2 base the whole time, it's still kind of debatable who ended up with more money. If I was Discara, you know, I'd like stop the replay and then check to see how many CUs and RUs had been mined, but I'm not gonna go that ham. Heavy railgun enhancements. He's getting armor before he's even built anything. Jeez. You know what I would do instead? I would get EMP rounds, actually. Now here he has to be a little bit careful, but again, MarchWaden doesn't have any upgrades, which it seems he just has been very slow to get in general, but a really nice high ground here. This is going to be very difficult for Cookies to fight, so he's just kind of got to run. Uh-oh. This could take the winds out of his sails in a bad way. Well, it's true, there's no other way to do it. I certainly don't disparage what you do, it's just not for me, that's all. But yeah, you see the idea of Rail EMP here, is that it's going to be useful against the Assault Ship Blob, and it will be useful against the Skims too, and so it allows you to be a little bit safer in fighting these army comps. This heavy railgun here getting shot a bit, but I think he'll probably be okay. Oh, he's not going to be okay, this guy got a beat on him too. And the Skims want to kill off the railgun here, which is good, but I think that actually Cookies has enough defense. But he is losing some expensive units here, so... I don't know, this trade actually probably favors Cookies by a little bit, unless he doesn't kill this guy off. Uh-oh, Sandskimmer's not going to want to be here, though. Yeah, we're going to fall on that side. Salvager's in danger, though. Cookie's kind of asleep at the wheel here. He's going to let this happen. It does go down. I think he'll lose another one as well. Suddenly I'm remembering very vividly this dream I had, that I was like visiting some government official at his like ridiculously expensive house in Italy. Anyway, I thought you guys should know that. Anyway, carrier unlocked here for Cookies. He doesn't have any power yet, so he's gonna start teching that, but... Right now, the army looks better for MarchWaden though, because it's got that siege cruiser. Looks like both players are trying to displace their PCs here. It happens, it happens. Yeah, that siege cruiser really is kind of the kingmaker on the field, I would say. But it doesn't mean that Cookies has to give up the field control entirely, though, because he can use his carrier and the railgun to kind of wrest things back, so... See what he's able to do here. Would really be nice to power up the carrier's speed, though, just get it out in the mid, because it's going to be very, very slow otherwise. A couple more heavy rails building, that's what he needs. And this base runner can actually be pretty nice with the scanners to just let you know like where your opponent is. There's that kind of siege revealing itself now. You can see armored ships, they don't fight this very well. Here's another one hitting the carrier. I don't think there's really danger of this carrier being killed or anything, but still, it'd be nice to have been able to see this guy coming using the scanner. Gonna power up the movement and the healing. He's gonna back away here. But I gotta say, I'm actually a little surprised we don't see air from MarchWaden, because it would sort of force his opponent to get anti-air, which I think he's done. Yeah, he's technically, but still. It's always nice to have a potential counter to your opponent's units. This base runner here, by the way, unfortunately just kind of going to sacrifice itself. Well, sacrifice isn't even the right word, because that suggests that you're getting something back for it. Not in this case. Not in this case. Uh-oh, Railgun might die in the barrage too. Yeah, he gets it. So the Con of Siege is doing its job so far. Third base starting to take some fire as well. But I think that's a assault ship building, so that's pretty timely. But you really want the skims to deal with this because they're fast enough to. These assault ships here, if they come back like this, you're just kind of yielding the entire midfield, which is pretty rough. Loses the base pretty much entirely here. He's got like one salvager left. So this is good damage by MarchWaden. Check the units lost tab now. It's kind of debatable either way. But I think that MarchWaden's ahead here because he's also doing economy damage at the same time. And so it'll be Cookies and MarchWaden taking Interceptor Fab at like the exact same time. That's pretty fun. Where are those railguns now? The closer the Con of Siege gets to the bases, the less comfortable I feel about this. Ah! Gotta kite this! Ah! Uh-oh. That's not good. Yeah, critical positioning mistake here by Cookies. He lets the railguns kind of wander off into their own. And two of them are going to die. The third one, you've got to imagine, is going to follow suit pretty soon. And again, like, assault ships don't fight these things very well, so it's pretty tough to deal with this. The carrier can do something, though. See, one of them will fall. They can do something to the carrier, too. I mean, this is a situation where you can't really just defend using only the carrier. I do like this, though. He's counterattacking with the skims. He's getting some value out of that. Yeah, you can see, these assault ships just really do not fight the Con of Siege very well at all. But, you know, he's doing this because he kind of has to. I mean, he doesn't have anything else to hold them off, so you get the reasoning. Looks like the Sand Skimmers did get cleaned up finally, but they took out 3 salvagers, which is pretty good. If the railguns can be shooting here, then this is maybe okay, but this carrier's taking a lot of damage, actually. Yeah, he's gonna agree. He's in some real danger here. Starts to power away, but it might be too late already. How good are your railguns? This carrier's getting mighty low. 5% now. And Cookies is using everything he can to try and stop this, but he can't do it. The carrier will go down. Only one Con of Siege left, but that seems to be all it takes. 20,000 CUs, wow. And Cookies will lose the series, 3-1. I think that was a good one, though. That was well fought by both sides. It was an interesting one, though. It's like the builds were kind of curious the way that they stacked up against each other. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it, then. And you're right, A-Game. Like, if the carrier lives there, actually, that's bad, because he just lost, like, all of the Con of Siege, so... Yeah, I mean, that was a close Game 3 as well. Or Game 4, that is, sorry. 3-1 for MarchWaden. He will move on to the semifinals, and that will secure him a spot in Group A of the next tournament. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.